What's going on? Consciouz, your favorite breakdown commentary. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and run those likes all the way up. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. All likes and thumbing up matters, baby. So whether you part of the replay gang, active for me in real time in these sky reaps, or you are an old nasty piece of bush, baby, please swing and bang and bully the hell out of the like feature. If you enjoy everything that Kane does here, you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. As Conscious spelled with the Z on the end, like it is here on the channel. All donation information and social media handles are in the description box below. Also, make sure that your notification bell is set to all. I'm eating on candy, y'all. So that you never miss a day or hour when the King is in fact King. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be a YouTube community, while your Snapchat, your MySpace, Dark Side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn. Where you, in fact, whether like, just let them horse know that we're live, and we're certainly in color. But no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Okay.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, honey, I'm working. And look, baby, I really want to get into a review for part one, a Trasher Case interview with Michelle ATL and Brown Child. But baby, I know I'm gonna shake the motherfucking table if I do. So I've been praying on that thing. Cause baby, cause baby, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be true. I'm gonna be true. I'm gonna be true, baby. I'm talking about Scorpio true to self, child. I want to get into that interview so bad, but I'm gonna wait till the Lord give me the red or the green light, child. All right. So if I get the green light before the night is out, we're gonna be back after this too. Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a great work day. Now I want to get into these two stories that ran across my front desk. I know it's a lot going on in terms of like true crime and all of that. We got developments in the Carmelo Anthony criminal case with his new attorneys. They have officially filed for a appeal. They got their work cut out for them within a corrupted racist ass system, but hopefully these lawyers can lawyer and the law can law, and Carmelo Anthony can come home and move forward with his life. Rest in peace to the other one, but Carmelo needs to bring his ass home, and that's on period. Okay. I know that we also have the other case with the 18-year-old black boy, is it Noel, maybe, who was found deceased on an island after being with his all saltine friendship group. And there's video circulating of him in an alleged verbal altercation with them. And one of the guys' moms is an attorney, is a whole judge child. It's a lot going on, but I'm kind of waiting for that story to develop a little bit more, because right now it's kind of too in the vague arena, and I really don't feel like getting off into this conversation around whether you should trust saltine people or not, and all of that. I just kind of want to stick to the facts of the case right now. So upon a bit more development, I want some more information first so that I can be more case focused than really race focused. But I know race is going to have to be a part of the commentary. But with there being so little information about what really happened and what transpired, anybody having a everybody who's having a conversation right now is having it from a purely racial standpoint. I'm not really sure how much that's going to benefit us or not. I know that white people do heinous things, and I know that white people have centuries upon centuries of heinous crimes committed unto humanity. They've conquered, pillaged, raped, and dominated all over this planet. That is their legacy. That is their ancestry. But, you know, we also have our fair share of great saltine people and everything. So, I don't know. You know, I wouldn't know what type of conversation to have around the racial component. Because, girl, if you have the conversation from the standpoint of he should have known better, because, you know, you got dumb people out there. He should have known better. His parents felt him. He should have known. He should have known what? Should have known what? We live in a multiracial system where people date interracially, people divest interracially, people marry and do all the things. I mean, like, and then how far can you really take those conversations? That's almost like saying, bitch, no, you know, no non-saltine person should be even then working with saltine people. You shouldn't have a saltine boss. You shouldn't have saltine coworkers. You shouldn't be in any type of corporate or communal space with saltine people. Most people have saltine neighbors, live in saltine communities, rent from salt. It's just like, so how like, when we talk about trust, it's just like, girl, I don't know what to say about that shit. So I need more information. I want more information so that I can have a case-specific conversation around the facts of the actual case, maybe minor in the race component, and just major in what the fuck actually took place. All right. So when I get more information, we'll be back to chit-chat about that. What I want to talk about right here, though, and y'all get them likes up, baby, is these two elderly black women who one almost lost her damn neck bone thinking that she was Diamond from Crime Mob and called herself confronting a damn neighbor over an altercation between her dog and the neighbor's dog. And it led to blows, and then it led to hospitalization. So let's get into Miss Miriam. I assume it's her name based upon the little short-lived deep dive that I did, child. Miss Miriam, who lives in an apartment complex, child, and her situation went viral last month. We're going to fair use it up, and I'm going to show y'all what took place. I don't even know if I can show y'all this. I might have to pause it right before they come to motherfucking blows. Child, it's a mess. This is a mess. My God. Hold on. Get my screen delayed. Come on, StreamYard. Where's the tea, child? Okay. StreamYard don't want to share. Hold on. Let me try to share my screen again. Okay, here we go. All right, check this out, y'all.
Community awareness.
It's apartment D. He is employed? Yeah. I'm coming about my dog. No dogs, I got to go. They kept my dog, they got to go. I have insurance on my fucking dogs. I don't know if you do, but the dog's gonna have to fucking go today. If not, I will do something to him. That dog shouldn't have been fucking loose. That's part of the lease violation. And how do we on a fucking lease? Miss Miriam, I need you to separate yourself from her. I'm gonna hurt this bitch because this is not the first run that I ever heard. This is oh no, when you had the boy put out for the dog because you was messing with him. That's how he had to leave. Oh, stop talking about bitch. Don't talk about my dog. I don't know that. I got $1,200 dogs. My dog costs $1,200 a piece. You got some motherfucking bullshit. If you can't leave people out that dog, he would have been on the leash.
Now, y'all see, baby. Miss Miriam ain't mixing no words and she ain't holding the hell back. So apparently Miss Bonnet here had her dog off the leash. The dog ended up chewing up, girl, chewing all on the bone. It ain't funny. It is not funny, girl, but Miss Bonnet's dog ended up chewing on the bone. End up chewing on the bones of Miss Miriam's dog. And when Miss Miriam girl saw that her little Chihuahua girl done came back home, girl, because somebody had to took a bite out of crime of her ass. Baby, she had to swung her ass around in her walker to Miss Bonnet's house. She knew exactly what bitch dog did it, baby, because this ain't the first time that this godless heathen's dog done ramshacked and attacked, her fur baby child. So Miss Miriam girl, she done had it up to here, girl. Now I'm gonna let y'all hear the rest. I ain't gonna play the rest because I don't know, how YouTube gonna be behaving, child. But I'm gonna let y'all hear the physical altercation that's about to occur rather than see it.
What? You damn right. I'm in your fucking face, dude. I'm fucking no fucking. Hey, don't you hit me? Do it. Fucking hold me.
My God.
What you hit me for?
And what y'all just heard is Miss Bonnet, after Miss Miriam girl had gave her a Mortal Kombat uppercut, baby. Miss Bonnet took Miss Miriam's head, grabbed all of her damn scalp into a top knot, banged her ass into the neighbor's door, banged her head into the neighbor's door, and then swung her ass around and slammed her on the concrete, girl. My God. My God. Now I'm going to show y'all the aftermath, baby, of Miss Miriam. You won't see Miss Miriam in this footage because Miss Miriam is effectively and officially on the goddamn floor. Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Get my phone, baby. I can't move.
Well, now she can't move. And now she done fallen and can't get up. Thank God she already had the paramedics on the line. The gag is she thought she was doing Miss Bonnet a favor by having the police already on the line because Miss Miriam just knew she was about to administer a good clean ass whipping to Miss Bonnet, baby. But what she didn't know, baby, is that she had to pull her on the phone for her own sake, not Miss Bonnet's sake. My God, today.
Why the fuck you hit me? I did an ambulance.
I know you do.
I did an ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck you hit me for?
Woman down.
Hit my fucking dog.
Mm-hmm.
I did an ambulance.
You do, baby.
My hand is stuck wrong with my hand. It must be bleeding. Why the fuck you came in my dog?
Mm-hmm. Now, it took Miss Miriam, it took the hospital 40 days and 40 nights to put Humpty Dumpty ass back together again. So after Miss Miriam was released from the hospitals, baby, this was the end result, honey. Crutches, canes, neck braces, super glue, prosthetics, a glass eye, and a pushback hairline. My God. Yes. This is Miss Miriam, girl. After she had done got treated, girl. This is why I told y'all when Monique was telling y'all, baby, that she was gonna be running up on the girls in the airport in their bonnets and tapping them on their shoulder. I told Monique to sit her ass down because this was gonna be Monique's aftermath too, baby. A goddamn neck brace. Talking about she was just gonna go up and start tapping on her sisters about them wearing their PJs and their pajamas and they bonnets and everything. in the airport, in the public, and everything. And Monique ass would have been in need of an electric scooter too, girl. Where is your scooter, Miss Miriam? My God, today. My God, Steely. All right. So luckily, girl, Miss Miriam done lived to survive. She done lived to tell about it, baby. And I got a feeling her and Miss Bonnet ain't gonna be having no more problems from this point on, baby. They're probably good girlfriends right now, but they're probably over there eating pie together and everything. But girl, do you know how many times an ass whipping has converted an enemy into a lifelong friendship, baby? When people say that violence is not the answer, I do challenge that. I don't think that that's a truth that applies universally, baby. Violence has absolutely been very much so the solution at plenty of times in history, baby, from an anecdotal standpoint and even from a historical one, my God. Yes. But with that being said, unfortunately, there was an altercation that led to a fatality. And that involves an altercation by an elderly woman by the name of Anita Grayson. You guys may have heard this story. It also went viral last month. An elderly woman, I think she's 76. She wasn't happy with her Tim Hortons order at the drive-thru. So she put her ass right on in, loud, live, and in color. She confronted the cashier. The manager got involved. Miss Grayson began to administering left hooks, right hooks in the name of cold fries and missing her onions and her ketchup. Miss Anita Grayson ass ended up on the floor in a full-on brawl with the goddamn manager. And now her ass is managing Heaven's Flow, unfortunately. The coroner has released her cause of death, which was pending, and we're going to get into the cause of death. And here is this surveillance footage from inside of Tim Horton between Anita Grayson and her confrontation with the cashier and the shift supervisor. My God. This is her walking in here. This is Miss Anita Grayson. Okay. Coming up right to the counter, baby. Loud, live, and in color. She moves around. She need to speak to somebody, and she need to speak to somebody right goddamn now. I don't know why my utensils missing. Every time I come to this raggedy motherfucker, y'all got ham and no burger, peanut with no jelly, cool with no motherfucking aid, cup with no goddamn cake. I'm sick of this shit. I want a full refund, and I want the meal I ordered for done in full and provided for me in full. Yes. You got to get me somebody that I can speak to right now. My grandchildren is home. I left the 9-year-old at home to care for the newborn at home. I'm on borrowed motherfucking time right now. I came up here, bitch, willing to get a CPS charge and everything over this motherfucking good burger, bitch. Time is money, okay? Here's the altercation ensuing. Okay, the manager gets involved here. Tell her to leave. Miss Grayson is about to leave, but not without first giving this bitch a motherfucking sonic knot upside her motherfucking head and knocking the goddamn rings out of her goddamn cranium. Okay, now to be fair, the manager did push her now. Okay, that white lady say, bitch, all lives matter, bitch, but bitch, a black life about to matter in a few seconds. Okay, she did push her. She got pushed back. They in each other's face. And the sonic rings get knocked out of the manager. Baby, that white lady has seen the goddamn divine feminine, baby. Miss Miriam took that poor lady where the hell she didn't want to go. then gave her ass a ayahuasca experience, baby. White lady is suspended in between life and death, absent from the body, forever present with the motherfucking Lord. And now ass whippings, baby. They throwing them blows. They on the floor. Miss Anita, at this point, is said to be snatching Karen bald. Apparently, Miss Grayson had done snatched the lady's whole natural ponytail out of her head. Gave her a buzz cut. You can see all the hair right here circled in the footage. Now, Miss Miriam is laid up there like she ain't do nothing, as if her ass is Ariel on a damn seashore rock, romanticizing the damn colonizer with her hair blowing in the damn wind. All of a sudden, she is a virtuous old lady. Like she don't know what the hell had just happened. Like she don't know she just came up in here and started all this damn shit. The co-workers are back there with the white manager. They calling AliExpress and bundles for less, seeing if they can get her a custom wig, baby, because she gonna need that to cover up that big ass crater that Miss Grayson had then left on the top of her motherfucking head, baby. It's going down right now. They're doing hair surgery, baby. They getting the custom wigs made. Well, apparently what happened right after this altercation is Miss Grayson had got up. She sat down at one of the tables in the restaurant. She made a call, probably to her damn attorney. Then she decided to lay down on the floor. And then from there, she never got the fuck back up, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Now, the call to death for Miss Grayson has been released, girl. Let's get into this courtesy of the nypost.com. Cause of death revealed for Tim Hortons customer who died after fighting the hell out of the manager over drive-thru issues. A 75-year-old Indiana woman who died after a brawl with Tim Hortons employees over her coffee order suffered a fatal flare-up of congestive heart failure triggered by the confrontation. Anita Grayson died. Hold on, why we moving so fast? Hold on, girl, slow down. You ain't got nowhere to go. Hold on, y'all, my computer is doing the most, girl. Oh, I'm never upgrading the software on my MacBook again. It's been a mess since I done did it. Anita Grayson died from acute exacerbation of congestive heart failure in the setting of physical altercation during the fight at Tim Hortons in Fort Wayne on May 13th, according to Wayne 15, citing the Allen County Coroner's Office. I'm about to commit a damn murder right now. Officials listed Grayson's manner of death as undetermined because it could not say whether it was natural, accidental, or a homicide. Allen County Coroner Dr. E. John Brattenberger said the phrase acute exacerbation was key to understanding the ruling. Acute exacerbation means that the heart failure suddenly got much worse, Brattenberger told Wayne. Quote, so it's like an acute flare-up of congestive heart failure, then that will cause symptoms and possibly lead to death. Grayson collapsed following the fight when she allegedly punched a 20-year-old shift manager after being told to leave and ripped out a chunk of the employee's hair during a struggle. Police at the time said Grayson became angry over her Tim Hortons drive-thru order, argued with the 17-year-old employee, and then fought with the 20-year-old shift manager after being told to leave. Investigators alleged that Grayson punched the manager and the two ended up wrestling on the floor. Police said Grayson pulled a chunk of the manager's hair before other employees separated them. After the fight, Grayson sat at a table, made a call, and later laid down on the floor. Employees checked on her and brought her water before she became unresponsive. She was pronounced dead at a hospital after paramedics attempted to save her life. Brattenberger said the physical struggle likely placed added stress on Grayson's heart. Quote, the symptoms of congestive heart failure get worse when there is adrenaline following in a physical altercation and then a sudden flare-up of the heart failure, which then can lead to symptoms or hospitalization and even death, he said. The coroner said his office strongly considered ruling the death natural because of Grayson's underlying heart condition, but said the altercation made that classification inappropriate. Quote, it's not like she was sitting in her chair or walking through Kroger and died from congestive heart failure, Brattenberger said. That would be natural. But there was something about this, the altercation, that made it unnatural. Investigators also considered accident and homicide before ruling both out. Quote, there has been exhaustive investigation and review in the evidence of this case, Brattenberger said. The video was reviewed multiple times by the homicide detectives, by my staff, by the prosecutor, and by the forensic pathologist. Body cam videos were reviewed. We listened to and transcribed the 4 911 calls in multiple meetings. He said the case did not meet the definition of homicide because Grayson died from congestive heart failure, and the final report found that she had no significant contributory injuries from the fight. Police later released surveillance footage of the confrontation without audio, saying it was intended to counter misinformation circulating on social media. Grayson's daughter, Tonda Grayson, called for the arrest of the Tim Hortons employees involved in the fight, accusing them of being responsible for her mom's death. Quote, if our police here would just do what we pay our taxes for them to do, which is protect and serve, we wouldn't be here, Tonda told Wayne 15 at a protest following the incident. Y'all have to lock them up. Y'all don't understand. My mother is gone. I want justice for my mom. The family has also pushed back against the police account and hired civil rights attorney, of course, Ben Crump, to pursue potential litigation. Ben Crump is also representing the young 18-year-old boy whose body was found on the island after being out with his saltine friends. I hope Ben Crump has a track record of winning. I hope he ain't like one of them attorneys that just be latching on to high-profile cases and sensationalized cases, but then the cases don't be casing. Because, baby, you got a lot of cases under your belt, Ben Crump. Does anybody know if Ben Crump is a successful attorney or not, Gloria? Shout out to my baby mother, Lady Luck, for the old nasty piece of child support check. Thank you, baby mother. Because, girl, he be working a little bit too much, and what be scaring me with attorneys, who be working a lot, baby, is that if you working on 12 other cases, bitch, ain't no way you could be putting no quality time into my cases. What y'all know about being Crump? Do he be winning them cases for them people, child? No Tim Hortons employees have been charged. The Allen County Prosecutor's Office said it will review the coroner's final autopsy report before deciding whether any charges are warranted. So charges can still be potentially brought about. It just depends on, I guess, girl, where they think they can wrestle an argument, and then whether, you know, a grand jury would find the case feasible, child. Before I get into my general commentary, I want to get into the specifics of Anita Grayson's case. You know, I understand the daughter, you know, this is her mother. This is an emotional time for her. And, you know, of course, she wants some relief because she lost her mom. The crazy part about it is that she spoke about the police doing what we pay them to do. The police don't do what we pay them to do. The police do what saltine people pay them to do. The reality is that had they called the police instead of running a fade with Mama Grayson could have lost her life in both instances. Because if she came in there to start that shit with them damn employees and she was willing to physically assault people over a coffee order, then imagine, girl, how much she was going to be willing to provoke the smoke from the police who we know ain't got too much patience with people who look like us because they not like us. You know, we don't get the same treatment and the same patience and the same compassion, you know, that other non-melanated groups get in this country, baby. So had they caught the authority, sugar, I'm not even sure if that would have made a difference in the in the outcome of the situation, for one. Secondly, you know, this is where we got to bear some responsibility, and this is where we got to really learn to be a people who stand on principle and not necessarily stand on identity politics or stand on personal loyalty. Because yes, this is somebody's mama, somebody's grandmother, somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, somebody's favorite neighbor, somebody's best friend. But best friend, neighbor, sister, grandmama, daughter, mother initiated and came in hot and came in with it. She was hot-tempered. She didn't want to handle the situation civilly. And her actions escalated the situation that eventually cost her life. Now, Miss Grayson is an elder. She should be setting the example. Because, baby, if this what the hell type of time the eldest is on, baby, it damn sure ain't no help for us. It ain't no help or hope for us, baby. Baby, if this is how the elders are carrying on, it ain't no hope, girl, for the rest of us, baby. She had a sworn duty to act her age. And Miss Grayson also knows what type of damn hypertension and heart medication her ass takes at home. These are all things that she should have kept in mind before escalating a situation. And over coffee, you would have thought these people had done stole her whole damn EBT card. You would have thought that that lady had done had hot 100 degree ass coffee spilled on her face. Over a coffee order, you was willing to knuck and buck and come in there and uppercut hoes and then lose your life. And now you done left a grieving daughter and a community at home who can't do nothing but be heartbroken and find somebody to be mad at. So I understand the daughter's sentiments, but I'm going to have to put technical responsibility on Miss Grayson. Now, here's where I'm kind of a little bit philosophically conflicted at. Because, you know, when I was coming up, hold on, y'all. Let me give me a swish. Where my water? Hold on. She did, Trey. She had a sworn duty to act her mother. Hey, she did. Here's where I'm philosophically slightly conflicted at, right? When I was coming up, I was taught that you respect your elders. That, yeah, they might be wrong psychologically. They might be wrong emotionally. They might be wrong in their tone. They might be wrong in their execution. They might be wrong. But ultimately, girl, you buy down. You buy down, 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 you buy the hell down. I understand, though, that that's just a philosophy. And it's a philosophy that not everybody agrees to. And everybody has a different set of rules that determine the way they're going to behave as it relates to social engagement. Now, I was trying to think, in the case of Miss Miriam, who got her ass whooped and tossed on her damn neck bone by Miss Bonnet, And Miss Anita Grayson, who done lost her damn life after she done came throwing everybody's ass up against the damn wall in Tim Hortons. What would I have done if an elderly person had came in hot and smoking and put their motherfucking hands on me? I do consider myself to be a rather emotionally intelligent person. I try to be very intentional and very methodical in my decision making because I know that I'm have to live with the full reality of every choice that I make. So I am a deep contemplator when it comes to my choices. In a situation where an elderly person doesn't have a weapon, they don't have a knife, they don't have a baton, they don't have a slingshot, they don't have a GUN, they don't have a razor underneath their damn tongue, and they got physically aggressive with me, probably at best I would restrain the elderly person. I cannot per se see myself beating the living daylights out of an elderly person who doesn't have a weapon on top of that. Now, the weapon would make the stakes higher. Baby, because mama say knock you out. Mama say what? Knock you up out of here. But for me, I can't imagine beating the hell out of an elderly person. I'm willing to restrain any damn body, especially somebody that I know I could probably, that there's a difference in power. There's a contrast in power here. However, once again, that's a personal preference. I can't tell these people that they're wrong for the way they handled physical assault. Because the fuller reality is, I'm not sure if there is a wrong or right in terms of physical assault cases. Somebody put their motherfucking hands on you and punch you in your goddamn face, which happened in both of these instances, and you still off on a motherfucker, and all lives matter to you at that point. You believe in full equality, baby. You are an equal opportunity roaster, gaster, and ass kicker. And you are willing to transcend exception once shit get gully and gangster. I can't be mad at it. I do think that there's a such thing as overkill. Okay, like you did way too much in the altercation. Yes, I can understand you whipping ass. But baby, you almost took mama ass up out of here. Or you did take mama ass up out of here. I don't think that in the case of Miss Anita Grayson, that the manager did too much. The manager met her with equal aggression. At that point, it was a full-on fight. And to be quite honest, Miss Manager got her ass whooped. She got a knot upside her motherfucking head, a black eye, and she bald now. Now, while Miss Grayson would have been sitting over there on that stool, baby, catching her breath and sipping on her damn water, I would have came behind her and clipped her goddamn ponytail and then sewed her damn hair into mine, bitch, to make up the difference. After I would have colored it and dyed it a 1B, baby. And that would have been the great replacement, an equalizer. But Miss Grayson ended up dying and ultimately died from an adrenaline spike that led to rapid heart rate that probably contributed to some, that obviously contributed to some cardiac arrest event that costed her her life. And that's unfortunate. The moral of the story is keep your motherfucking hands off people and never write no type of check that your ass can't cash. And when your ass is 74 years old and your ass can't stand for more than 15 minutes at any given time, and your ass is in orthopedic shoes and maybe even possibly orthopedic ass diapers and depends, you need to be thinking extra deeply and extra methodically, baby, about picking and choosing your motherfucking fights. Now, I've been up here for 40 minutes. I'm going to drop the link. Anybody got an opinion And the conversation and subject is, should elderly people be qualified to get their ass whooped as well? Is that a yes or a no in your book? Do y'all think the people in this case should have just walked away, should have called 911, they should have restrained themselves and got the proper authorities involved? Or do y'all think for every action, there is a reaction? That's it, and that's all. I'm going to drop the link in case anybody got a thought, baby. And when y'all think about this, think about it also from the context of, what would you want someone to do if Miss Miriam or Miss Grayson was your grandmother or your great aunt? Even if your great aunt, your grandma, your elderly mother was with the shits, was willing to engage in physical assault, would you still want someone to meet them with equal aggression? What's going on, baby C? They shouldn't have touched the elderly customer. Baby, the elderly customer touched them, though. My God. Hey, Rumors.
Hey, Conscious. How are you? I'm doing well. Shout out to the crew. Y'all make sure y'all like and share this video.
Yes, God.
Bring
it on. Honey, give it to me.
Very, very interesting. You know, I love my elders. I'm an avid supporter of the elders, like you. I do not. I will not engage in any verbal like spat disagreement, anything that's going to be like borderline that feels aggressive or anything. I don't engage like that with the elders. Yeah. But I am also an avid believer because I have seen some elders that are totally out of control, and I personally walk away. But I have seen some elders like act the fool and place themselves in situations where they have brought more harm to themselves instead of just walking away. So for me, like, I've always told the elders in my family, first of all, don't argue with no young people. You got young people in your family. And if you feel like somebody's disrespecting you and you feel threatened, pick up the phone. If you don't want to call the police and you want to get it, you know what I'm saying, cracking, slinging, and think, okay, call one of your relatives. But I feel like in today's climate, that is very dangerous anyway, because we know people like can lose their lives. Like as we see this with this one woman, she's no longer here. Everything ain't worth it. I get, you know, the frustration of when you're spending your money, you want things to be done. You want the service to be friendly. You want to have, you know what I mean, your orders right and things of that nature. But when it's all said and done, is it worth your life being taken? And in these two situations, I feel like these women just weren't using wisdom. They got out there and acted like they haven't lived and had any experiences to know that you could be here today and gone today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting how, even down to the family, I do understand when you're dealing with emotions, people tend not to think logically. But I don't understand the family seeing that footage and still holding the people at the restaurant responsible when clearly you see that this woman was the aggressor as far as when it became physical. I know that has to hurt. I'm very protective of the elders in my family. And I tell them at this point, I'm an elder in the family. And I make it very clear, like, to me, everything is not worth the hassle of even wanted to fight. Like, I don't see nobody that I want to fight. If like I'm not in, my life is not in jeopardy, what am I fighting for? What am I physically out here fighting for? I do understand that the younger generation seem like they have no boundaries and respect when it comes to elders. But in situations like this, can you blame them?
Who? The elderly or the responders?
The responders. I can't find
assaulting
for defending themselves.
Well, like I said, I'm neutral. I know what my preferences are and how I would conduct in situations, but I also am clear that there's no wrong or right in the situation. There are going to be people who are going to walk away even after being assaulted. They would choose to walk away. There are people who would choose to restrain an elderly person instead of engaging in full-blown mutual combat with them. And then there are people who are going to street fighter that shit.
What I'm saying is, okay, we're taught, right?
So I don't have a judgment on how the responders really responded in this situation. It's just unfortunate that somebody lost their life, but I don't really have a judgment on how the responders responded. Because once you because this goes back to my commentary on the Carmelo Anthony situation. I feel sorry that Anthony Metcalf lost his life, but he put himself in a situation to have his life being taken from him once he initiated physical aggression with somebody else. Once you open that door, and to your point, because the emotions work both ways. You upset about whatever you upset about, but then once you put me in a situation of fear for my reasonable safety, my emotions run too. And my emotions may make me just as irrational or just as combative or just as destructive or just as defensive and protective in this moment as your emotions are making you and being confrontational. So then you get a situation that can't nobody predict once shit get out of control and lines get crossed.
And that's the point that I'm making. Although I myself, I don't engage. I literally don't engage. I don't even waste my time and my breath when people are irate. I literally disengage and remove myself. And that's partly because I understand consequences. Because regardless if it ends in death or if it's just a point. Because one day, and I pray to God that when I do, as I get older, however long I may live, I pray that I can remain in the headspace to always move and lead with my humanity, right? Instead of always wanting to nuck and buck. Like, because there are some people, I've heard this numerous of times, people can't wait till they become an elder so they can talk reckless, do reckless things or whatever, as if that gives you a pass, because we've been taught, as we both have shared, you know what I mean, when it's the elder to just walk away. I don't think because you are an elder you get you should get a free pass. That is just me leading with my humanity, because there are certain points to be made. Like, we do know that there are some elders that will get out here and kick your ass. Absolutely. So being older doesn't mean that they can't defend themselves. My
grandfather is and was one of them. He was putting out his gun on niggas all the way up to 70 and 80. Take no shit, no holds bar. He was a man of very little patience. He ruled with an iron fist, and all the way up until his eldership, honey, he thought he was still on the on the first installment of the New Jack City.
Right. But it was one thing that the elders always taught me: there's always somebody out here tougher and badder and faster and swifter than you. You don't know when and how you're going to meet your equal. And I just feel like in situations like this, like, it's unfortunate, right? Because the elders should be wise enough to know when to disengage, how far to go, especially too when we live in we've been living in a time for the last 20 years where there's like a lack of trust, a lack of respect, a lack of understanding and communication in the gap between the elders and the younger generation anyway, right? So to even like want to try it with someone young, that many elders we feel like they're a lot of young people are out of control, this and the third, to feel that way and to actually go and knock and buck and be willing to even test the fire as if like the odds, especially if the odds ain't, you don't know for certain that you with that life. Like use your grandfather as an example. One of my elders or whatever definitely was a nuck and a buck, always was like my, as they call it, a jitty bug. I don't know if anybody ever heard of that term. You know, they were a thug all their life and even had to at some point learn their limitation and just use wisdom and understand it, because they would be out there slapping niggas of all ages. You would have thought, like, you know, thought they was Bumpy Johnson or something. But that particular individual had to come to an acceptance using wisdom. Like, you cannot move that way all of your life, because there's going to come a time where life is going to sit you down, because you can't be that all the time away. You just got to pick and choose your battles. And my heart goes out to the woman that passed away, because I don't think that if she would have known, I don't know if she knew she had this existing condition, but I want to believe that if she would have known better, she would have did better.
You know what? A lot of our elders are good for staying up on especially Black women are good for staying up on their health and staying at the OBGYN and the gynecologist and, you know, taking their blood pressure medicine. I'm sure her ass knew she had an underlying heart issue. I'm sure she probably was taking some type of medication for her blood pressure. She knew what type of time she was on.
I just pray that it ain't
a Warrior, I probably don't butcher your name, boo. Charge it to the head, not to the heart, who said, you ain't got no business forcing me to have to get physical. So if we got to go there, we not playing by your rules anymore, no matter the age. Restraint is shown only once. After that, it's all the way up. Because here's the thing, Rumors, right? Because I told the Consciouz, I said, okay, so when y'all think about what y'all want to see people do in situations like this, also think about, like, if it was your grandmother in either one of these instances, or your great aunt, or even like your mother, you know, like what would we? I mean, now I'm still willing to stand on business and say, look, as mad as I would be, frustrated as I would be, hurt as I would be, if something happened to my damn mama under these circumstances, or my great aunt under these circumstances, I would be pissed the fuck off. If they end up hurt or unalive or whatever it is, at the same time, I would also know, though, that I would be emotionally biased, because if I'm also the same person that is like, look, it's a subjective thing. Everybody will choose to handle a situation like that very differently. I can't really be mad at somebody else who, like, well, this ain't my damn mama. This ain't my great auntie. This ain't my damn grandmama. I don't know her from a can of paint on the wall. I'm not about to let her beat the hell out of me, put her hands on me, scratch my damn eyeballs out, strangle me, or whatever it is. She come over here with the shits, I'm going to give her what the hell she looking for. I can't be mad at that, really. But that's why, for me, it's like, I'll restrain somebody. Like, I know I could whip Miss Miriam ass, so why would I whip her ass? I know I can whip Miss Grayson's ass. Why would I whip her ass? It ain't even really going to be a fair toss-up. So if she's the one compromising my physical safety, at most, yes, I will neutralize her by restraining her. Now, if she came in there with a goddamn weapon, then I'm going to try to treat her like a domestic terrorist, unfortunately. But, you know, if she coming in there all smoke, all heat, all ego, all testosterone and estrogen, spike the hell up, mad as hell, she come in there swinging, you know, I'm not going to beat the hell out of either one of these women.
So I'm going to say this, because I had a situation years ago, and we moved into a new neighborhood, and my mom and my great aunt got into a fight with the neighbor. and she was a young girl. And I heard my mother screaming, and I ran downstairs, and I beat the hell out this chick. And the neighbors came, everybody came out, and they're like, no, your mom hit her, etc., etc. And I made it very clear to them, I didn't care what my mom had did. They should have came to me. She has a daughter that's age appropriate, right? And we shot a fair one. We fought a couple of times, got it over with, or whatever. And I told them, I said, listen, if it's your parents, anybody that's in your family that's an elder, disrespect me, I'm gonna send for you. I'm gonna tell them to go get you because I'm not gonna fight them. And once we resolved the issue, I told my mother and my aunt, me and my siblings, we had a meeting with them. And I made it very clear to them, they were dead ass wrong. You don't get out here knucking and bucking with nobody. That's what you have children for. Nieces and nephews, cousins. You don't get out here and be knucking and bucking with these young people for what? For what? And I never had that issue again. Now, for me personally, I don't let people get close in my personal space anyway. Like, if we ain't romantically involved and you're not someone close to me, why are you in my personal space? You don't get close enough to put your hands on me to use a weapon or anything of that magnitude. So, but I'm not going to be mad at anyone because we are taught when we are young children, if someone puts their hands on us, to hit them back, to defend ourselves. Sometimes I think the privilege that the elderly people have, they take advantage of it.
For sure.
And I'm not upset with anyone that's going to defend themselves because, as you stated, the pendulum really swings both ways. Everyone does not have the same characteristics and traits and beliefs. So I'm not going to be upset at anyone that's defended themselves when we are taught to defend ourselves. But I think we need to also move in wisdom, because the unfortunate thing is, even though the young lady, the manager, was defending herself, now she has to live with, the thoughts and the memories of actually having to fight someone because this elderly one put her hands on her, and now this woman is deceased. Although she did not perpetuate the situation, because I don't know what happened. I don't want to pretend to act like we have all the details. We see the footage. We don't know what was exchange, what happened before she came into the store, right?
Well, apparently it was over a coffee situation, and the police actually muted the surveillance. They had the ass audio, but they muted the audio.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the public, we don't know what the exchange was. We don't know if she approached them, from the drive-thru.
But what we do know is that she came in there hot. She came in there on one, and nobody was trying to give her that smoke. The initial girl that she was arguing with was trying to walk away. The manager stepped in. The manager trying to defuse the shit, trying to keep Miss Anita from getting from behind the counter and all of that. And Miss Anita, she uppercutted the fuck out of her. I mean, is it the visual enough to know that, to make a sound? Because anything else, like if she had been assaulted possibly in the drive-thru, okay, well, that's when you
No, I'm not talking about the physical aspect. What I'm talking about is the verbal exchange that happened prior. Because usually when people come get out their car, unless the lines are long, but usually when people come inside and they're like upset and aggressive, they've already tried to like correct, have a exchange. Sometimes they're nasty, their attitudes are nasty. Sometimes their employees' attitudes are nasty. Regardless, whatever the exchange was prior to, it definitely was something that occurred before she came inside, is what I'm saying. I don't know if she was rude or if the employees were rude or whatever, but she thought it escalated to a point where it triggered her ass to come in and want to turn it to Jackie Chan or whatever. And that's my point. So I don't know what the exchange was prior to, but she, in my opinion, should have used wisdom as an elder. I understand when people you feel disrespected, especially when it's from anybody, but when it's older people, when it comes to younger people, it's like, oh no, who are you? You a child, I'm an adult. But again, we know that
these ain't the same young.
This ain't back in Jim Crow era. This ain't even in the 80s.
These ain't the same young people.
Yeah.
It's a generation of young people, baby.
I mean, they're not even respecting their own elders, but people within their own family, their own parents. Like, they don't respect themselves as a, you know what I'm saying, as a whole. So it's
because
like
an emotionally intelligent thing to do is you take your ass to another restaurant. You ask for a refund. If you don't like the service, if you don't like the way you were treated, you can call and file a complaint. You can come in and file a complaint. But what was you really trying to accomplish by coming into the restaurant 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the damn morning, hooting the motherfucking hollering with a 17-year-old? And doing the most? I mean, like, what was the long-term goal here? Exactly.
Right.
What about
and I worked in fast food, and my son now works in fast food. And the stories that he tell me or whatever, like what he shares with me and his response to when customers are upset or whatever, I be so proud of him or whatever. He be like, "Ma, you just don't know if you know I was their age, it would have been different." And I be like, "No, just be respectful." And he like, "Ma, you got to give respect to get respect." And I'm like, "Yeah, but listen, one day we're going to get older. You're going to get to that age, and I hope that you don't think just because you're that age you can talk to people any kind of way. But if by chance you do, you will want someone to have grace on you, only because you don't know the temperament of that person." But that pendulum swing both ways. R.I.P. to the woman that lost her life. You know, it's unfortunate that she didn't use the wisdom that God gave her, and no, she's no longer here. But my heart really goes out to the young lady, the manager, more than anything, because just imagine what she's going through. That is very traumatizing when you had no, and then like you said, that she was laying there and the employees running, trying to they're giving her water, and she's not responding. That is a lot to have on someone's psyche. It doesn't even matter that she was just trying to defend herself. Just the point that now this woman is gone over a fucking cup of coffee. We tried to walk away and we weren't the aggressors, but now she's gone.
And it's sad because you can see in the footage that both employees was literally, they didn't want to go there with her. Like everything was about telling her to leave. The fact that this could have been prevented. The fact that this was preventable. Had she just actually left, once she was in the drive-thru and left, once she came into the restaurant and just actually fucking left. You done came in, got yourself all wound up and excited, trying to be the baddest bitch on the block. And now you the baddest bitch with God.
I think
over what? A coffee order going wrong. My God. Like you done lived through Jim Crow, you done lived through slave houses, you done lived through raising your children, you done made it 75 years in this whole world for this shit to come down to dying from a cardiac arrest event over a coffee order at Tim Hortons. Girl,
there gotta be a Mr. Charles involved somewhere, Conscious. There gotta be a Mr. Charlie. There gotta be a Mr. Charlie. Because a cup of coffee just don't add up for me. It don't. It was something else going on.
Of course, it probably is due to, shit happening elsewhere. Because to your point, I'm sure that this wasn't solely over just a cup of coffee. It might have been some other stresses in her life. She might have had a bad week. She might have got shit on her mind. We Black people, so but we always carrying our fair share of emotional baggage, and this altercation, to your point, whatever it was that happened in the drive-thru exactly, was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's tragic because now she got a mourning daughter who can't even conceive of holding her mom accountable. She wants justice and she wants some employees arrested.
And this woman sitting up here with this neck brace on her neck, right? First and foremost, sis, if this woman dog took a bite out of your dog, you should have known she was gonna take a bite out of your ass. There's like
owner Hornet. If the dog was a reflection of the owner, sis, you should have came. You should have came at least with a weapon, baby.
Like, why didn't you pick up the phone and call the authorities and press charges? They do have law. You know, they got laws that they enforce more for animals than they do for humans. So I don't even understand her temperament, but I ain't even going like this woman, no shade. I'm sorry that she got towed up too. You know, she wasn't wise enough either. But she looked like a Newport and a Bud Ice drinker, you know, like she spiked her tea and her coffee. She looked like she with the shits. She looks like she been laid down a few times because she want to throw hands. Like, she looked like one of those type of women. And it's unfortunate. I don't know who grandma and auntie and Gigi she is, but I do think that at some point when it comes to women and not just women, elders, when it comes to our elders, we as a family, we should really sit them the fuck down. They need interventions too. And this is a prime example of why we do have a lost generation. I give props because I think this generation after me, or 2 generations after myself, I'm very proud of all that I've seen them accomplish. But I can't be mad at those that are tyrants, because look at the elders that are tyrants. They the ones set the fucking example and drop the ball. So we see where Ray Ray and them came from, because she giving me Ray Ray grandma vibes. You know, this Ray Ray grandmother.
I wish the young person, once Miss Miriam here had, you know, started calling her out her name and calling her bees and all of that, I wish that the young woman just would have went back into her apartment. I wouldn't even have entertained Miss Miriam after she would have started talking to me like that. It wouldn't even have made it to her being able to eventually get in my face and then pop me in the face. Once I would have saw what type of time she owned, this energy that you come with, and I know what's going to happen if I have to put my motherfucking hands on you, let me go ahead and tiptoe back in this apartment, boo, and watch my soap operas before I have to whip your ass out in this motherfucker. I wish the young person would have, you know, because had the young person just also made that decision, Miss Miriam ass wouldn't be upside down in a neck brace. Now she is in a literal chokehold.
Child, well, prayers out to her.
Because I think my nephews like, don't prove anything that you don't really have to. Like, don't be emotionally governed. Because to your point, emotions make you irrational. If you lead from your emotions, you're gonna probably make a lot of bad decisions in your life. Really think about whether there is something really to prove here. And don't put yourself in a situation that's not necessary when there ain't no real benefit in you really, you know, having to stand up for yourself. You don't even got to stand up for yourself on principle. Who the fuck is looking at the principle? If you avoid a situation and go on to the next moment in your motherfucking life, it don't mean shit to have to sit up here and argue and go back and forth with you, or to, you know, to fist fight with you and bar fight with you. Like, in the end, what does that do to my credit score, to my social credit score? Like, just try to, you know, put it into a broader perspective. And I try to teach, like, the young people under me, don't prove anything that you really don't have to prove. Really only prove what you really have to, but don't just be proving shit just for the hell of proving shit. Just because it's here and it doesn't manifest, it don't mean you got to touch and agree with it.
And that's the truth right there. That's it, right? A whole word, you know, just knowing who you are and staying self-aware. Everything doesn't require a response. And I give grace to the young people. That's why for me, in these situations right here, I shake my head more at the elders than I do the young people, because they're the ones that have lived and had the experience and should be using the
situation. And
they are the aggressors. They are.
Yeah, to the young people.
And we see this often, because I see videos all the time on social media where elders are fighting against young people. And I'm always taken aback when it comes to like I believe in personal choices and individuality, right? Everybody should know that by now. And just because, like you say, just because I choose to operate and move in the best interest of myself, which is what is worth and what's not worth, and most of the time it ain't worth me even engaging. And even when it comes to disrespect, now outside of something being physical, that's different. But even when it comes to like verbal disrespect and all of that, none of that really means much to me, because we all have voices. We all have a right to use our voices. And no, regardless of me standing up for myself or not, if a person disrespects me going at it with them, it's not going to change the disrespect. No matter what I say, how I say it, and even if I choose to react in a physical way, that ain't going to change that person. Most people still hold the same opinions, thoughts, and responses. So why even waste my time? That came with wisdom. That came with experience. It didn't come just from a place of, consciousness. I had to learn that, or whatever the case may be. So I don't frown upon the young people. Do I be disappointed? Yes. But I really don't frown upon young people, because we've been taught a lot of things that be a contradiction. You want us to, I can't express that enough. We are taught to defend ourselves as children. If somebody hit you, you have a right to hit them back. You better hit them back. Don't let nobody put their hands on you. But then when it comes to an elder, that is not justified in any reason and way to put their hands on us. We're supposed to not, even when it comes to verbally disrespecting us, we're not supposed to say anything because they're our elder. That doesn't make sense. That just doesn't make any sense. So yes, you can choose to disengage, but you also have the right to defend yourself, because that's what we teach our children. That's what we were taught. So you can't have it both ways. You can't frown upon the young people and say they disrespectful and out of control when it comes to them speaking up or even physically defending themselves when in situations like this.
Yeah.
When they've been taught to defend themselves. And regardless of anything, it is very biased, because there are people that feel like if an elder do something to them, they have a right to hit them back. You ain't gonna disrespect me. I don't care what your age is, this, that, and the third. But when it comes to their own relatives and people that they love, you better not dare. Now the pendulum swing both ways.
And that's why I posed the question I did before I had dropped the link and told everybody to put themselves in the shoes of an elder that they personally love. Because however we choose to react applies to everybody else in that same situation.
And that's why I tell people, when it comes to the people that I love, come to me. If it's going to become physical, come to me, because I'm going to offer you the same respect. I'm not going to disrespect you. And that goes for kids too, because I don't believe in being combative and argumentative with children, especially the people that ain't children that's not mine, because they're humans.
Do you want to tackle the statement from Baby C, or do the young people today blame the elders for everything that is going wrong in their lives? ? I will say this: the elders have a lot to do with a lot of shit that goes wrong in the lives, because it does start when we are young people. How we are taught and what we're not taught, what is demonstrated to us, what's not demonstrated to us, shapes our adult lives. It shapes the choices we make. It shapes the way we put up with people and don't put up with people. It shapes and influences all of that. It's the social programming. And I'm not going to say the elders do everything wrong, but when we do be talking about certain issues, like the way that Black women, not even Black women, but the way that like women in general kind of taught mammy behavior as a result of like patriarchy supremacy, and how that's even bled into current generations of women who really don't have to put up with that from men. But these old antiquated ideas of like cuddling a man, navigating his ego, bowing down to him because he has the money or because he has the genitals, and to actually approve of that male privilege, we got to get rid of that shit. And we got to confront how that shit started with the elders. The older men being inappropriate with younger men around sexuality and encouraging hypersexuality amongst young boys and being inappropriate in those ways, the way that they narrated and defined manhood. That stuff ended up hurting generations of men. It ended up hurting generations of women. The elders are responsible for a lot of shit. And I don't think that as a community, we do our fair share of holding our elders accountable for the way that they set up people to really fail and set up the Black community, set up the community to fail in so many ways. And I'm not saying that they did it intentionally, because I don't believe that our elders were trying to be malicious or that they always could see the end of the shit that they began. But nonetheless, the data is out. And so there does need to be an honest conversation, and we shouldn't have a problem saying, yeah, like, we now know this shit was wrong and this shit was out of order and we was driving off in the wrong direction at the head and leadership of our elders. And there shouldn't be no problem with the elders being able to look at the end result too and be able to say, hey, you know, times have changed. And there's a lot of shit that we taught that we should have taught to be temporary or just not have even should have embraced at all. And we apologize to women. We apologize to men. Whoever needs to got it. We apologize to the gays. We apologize to the whoever they have the apology. But yeah, the elders ain't saints. The elders were shucking jivers, raccooning, tap motherfucking dancing, bitter, hateful, controlling, narcissistic, ignorant as hell, religious as hell. It's a lot of shit that can be critiqued by the elders. But I think me and Rumors are also doing a great job at talking about emotional regulating and accountability on both sides, because we also have put the onus on young people to be emotionally intelligent, pick and choose your battles. Just because you can don't mean you should. So, you know, depending on being swinging nicely in this conversation.
Right. Well, let me say this, because everything you said, and you know, I love that you and I are like-minded in thought, right? But I don't want to sound like an echo chamber. But I want to share this with the crew. You and I have had private conversations where I've discussed we've actually discussed this topic several times. And within my own family and community, I am a bridge builder. And I'm very proud and honored to be one of the only people in my community and family that I deal with the young people and the elders, right? And I've been able to break a lot of the generational norms, the toxicity, and discussing the taboo conversations and topics of, you know, where the gap came from, people's trauma, things of that nature. And one thing's for certain, a lot of this toxicity in our communities does fall on the elders. And unfortunately, for most people, it is really hard for people to take accountability without feeling like the bad guy. Being accountable, because people are very defensive and wanting to not feel at fault or responsible for things, right? And that becomes a crutch for them. But for me, accountability shows strength. And when I use the word accountability, I'm not talking about acknowledging, but I'm actually talking about doing the work to to correct and reconstruct what is broken. That is going to be what is in the best interest of not only your community, but your family as a whole, the generations to come. There are a lot of great things that came from my childhood experience. I will be a liar, though, to say that there was not just as equally great a lot of things that caused a rift within my own family because of bad habits and secrets and, you know, all of the things, the elephants in the room not being addressed, happen to be, you know, feeling like you don't have a voice. And because this person is your elder, you can never confront them, have the conversations to get understanding. I have compassion for the elders a lot of times, because I understand they grew up in times, you know, all of this is slave master mentality that's still rooted in their generations. Even though they were in the Jim Crow era, they were taught by people that were part of slavery days and things of that nature. And it was really hard for them to break the cycle and do something different because this is all that they knew. Then you had an awakening, a generation that awakened that said, because this is where the breakdown came from. I'm not going to raise my children the way I was raised. Instead of us learning to eat the meat and spit the bone out. Most of that generation that decided they weren't going to raise their children the way that they were raised didn't consider the whole entire package in a way of get rid of the things that didn't help and keep the traditions and the morals and the characteristics that did help, to keep that and nourish it and implement something different to help. Because we know as parents, we have this thing that we tend to do where we want our children to have a better life than we did, because we're secretly living vicariously through our children. All of the things we felt like we didn't get, and the decisions and the choices and the opportunities that we didn't take, we try to perpetuate that onto our children. And that sometimes becomes a bad thing. Instead of just letting everybody be an individual and treating everyone like a human being and learning to just teach the good, instill the good, whatever the good is to you. So yeah, the elders definitely bear responsibility, because I don't see too many elders today that are trying to reach out and bridge the gap between the young and the old. If you talk to most elders, they'll say these kids are disrespectful. They don't listen, so they don't want to be bothered. Some say they're afraid. They don't know if they're going to get hurt. And then some with the shits in regard to, I ain't trying to teach them nothing, but let one of their little asses say something to me out of the way. I don't care if you're adult or a child. You younger than them, they wish you would. And then we have them walking around with neck braces. So it is what it is. Prayers out to them.
Pink Butterfly says, anytime I have ever dealt with an aggressive elder, they were having mental issues, i.e. dementia. I
think things like that can be considered as well, but everybody's not going. Listen, everybody is not going to do when you got two people emotionally unhinged.
But here's also the thing to that. Nobody has time to get your Carfax and your medical report when they don't know you, for one, and you're pulling up on them with the shits. How's anybody supposed to know? You know, like that you have an underlying. I don't. You got a heart underlying. You're supposed to be the one to abide by your heart having an underlying issue. You're supposed to be the like. That's your issue. I don't know your medical history, so it's going to be at face value of a situation. And that goes back to that self-preservation conversation. You got to put yourself in situations you can thrive in. That's everybody's personal burden. Nobody does not owe you anything once you with the shits. And there may be somebody who has a lot more emotional control and maturity. And for them, you may not be worth it. And that's why you get to live to tell about it tomorrow. Because they may walk away as a result of having shit to lose. They got children, they got a job, they got college, whatever it is. And then you may get them people who unhinge or who are literally scared. And they're terrified in this moment. And they're going to react out of fear, which may cause them to do the most in defending themselves.
I just can't.
You cannot expect. And that's why we're going to put a little bit more onus on the elders, because it's like, you can't, like, you make an assumption thinking that, because see, I know that Miss Mulberry here with the neck brace, I know when she was looking at Miss Bonnet, she could probably see her niece in Miss Bonnet. she could see she thought this was one of her own. You were making an assumption, baby, that Miss Bonnet had been raised with the same values that make her from whipping your ass like your nieces and nephews have been raised with. But this ain't your niece and nephew. Don't make them type of assumptions over people you don't motherfucking know. Because you may, in fact, bring your knuckles to what, in fact, becomes a gunfight for another motherfucker. You don't know people. Do not put people in a position to have to get rowdy with your motherfucking ass. Because this is why I fight to the deaths. Bitch, because I don't know if you're not. So I'm going to assume that you are. I'm going to assume you're trying to do the most to me. And so I'm going to combat you with the most in me. I'm making that choice. I'm making that extreme choice in my mind to give you everything. Because as far as I know, you're here to give me everything. And you may, in fact, be coming on 20, but I'm always going to be reacting on 100. Because I, too, do not play about physical confrontation. Now, I have my exceptions. I will restrain a young person, you know, a 13-year-old, out of control, 11-year-old who thinking that he can go up with me. I don't have nothing to prove by beating the hell out of a damn 13-year-old. I will restrain his motherfucking ass, though. I'm not going to get nothing out of beating the hell out of a 70-year-old man. I will restrain his ass, though. Now, somebody within my age group, I don't do no sense of restraining. I'm about to Jerry Springer the motherfucking spot. Bitch, you better hide all the rest of the pedestrians, all the civilians, bitch. You better find a table to get up under, bitch, because it's about to be lights, camera, and action in this bitch. So I understand, and that's why for me, I don't start shit. I will finish that shit, but I don't start shit, and I don't start shit for that reason and that reason only. Because, bitch, when I started, I don't know how you plan to finish it, and so I'm not putting myself in those situations I can't predict. So right. I stay out of the shit. I'm not gonna initiate the foolishness. But that's me.
For me, when it comes to the elders, the average elder in U.S. American citizen, that's an elder, has health issues, multiple health issues. I can't see me in my 70s being the aggressor in a physical altercation. I can't even see me staying around and even engaging. And I'm like this right now, but being in my 70s, because you don't know if you're going to break a hip bone, a thing. And as you age, things, so, you don't heal the same. I just don't see me engaging in that way. I don't get the point of it. You're not physically being endangered. I mean, I get how people love their animals and all of that. I had a pet dog that literally got attacked by a pit bull unwarranted. We didn't get out there and fight. We called the police. We did whatever we had to do. And then, it hurt. The dog wound up dying. But at the end of the day, we wasn't out there fighting over that. But again, I know how people feel about their pets and their animals. I'm just saying, like, logically now, your dog fucked up, you fucked up.
It's nothing wrong, like, with her coming over there and saying and confronting her over the fact that you are breaking your lease agreement by having your animal out here and, off of a leash. And this is the second time this done happened, and it done led to my dog being injured. So I'm putting you on notice right now, because all I got for you is that if anything else happens to my dog, you will be hearing from my attorney. And I'm going to take you through there and with all of me, and I will report you accordingly. I am responsibly having my dog on a leash. Your dog should be on a leash too. There's no reason why my dog should be injured. And then that could have been all. Or she could have decided that this was one time too many, and she contacted the front office again, and she filed her paperwork and she take it up with the authorities. Because I don't even have a problem with the confrontation, but it's like, you got up in this girl's face and then you popped her. And that young girl she never called her out of her name. She sat there and she listened. She stayed in front of her door. And Miss Neck Brace here got gangster with it and decided that she wanted to escalate the situation. Well, what you thought was going to happen when she did?
My whole point, it should never get to that extent. But I have found that most, not all, but most elders that move that way, they've been like that all their fucking life. And those type of people, no matter how many times they get hurt, no matter how many times, they're embarrassed, they are repeat offenders. So for me, like, I just don't even engage. Child, I will look at you, laugh at you, and sometimes give a yes, ma'am, no, sir. Most of the time, I just laugh and whatever and just go about my business, because why am I going to sit here and go back and forth with you and like waste my time? There's no point in it. But I don't have those issues, to be quite honest, with the elders. I mean, in the past, I have experienced it, but I don't have them because I don't engage.
Yeah, I've never had to be in a situation with an elderly person at all.
Yeah, no, I've seen it where they're like, usually it was a drunk older man and just come up running their mouth and just, whatever. But when I was younger, I moved according to what I was taught. Mm-hmm. Anybody, you have a right to your opinion, and you have the right to defend yourself, no matter the person and the age. But like I said, I've experienced both sides. I don't want no one to disrespect my elders. I don't want anyone to disrespect me as a new upcoming elder. But I give I put out into the universe what I want back in return. So I'm going to always be self-aware. Everything does not require an argument. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And like you said, everything, you pick and choose your battles. Everything doesn't require a response. Mm-hmm. That just came with wisdom and experience. I've learned. Now, yeah, I'm not innocent.
Yeah.
And I'm not I'm with the shits. Few far in between. But I only give that type of energy to people I know and love. I don't waste my time being combative with a stranger. For what? And when it comes to people, I may not have a person where they like, let's say a neighbor or something of that magnitude. I just don't see me wasting my energy that way, getting out there. All right, we can't have a civilized conversation. I know how, but that, again, wisdom. I know how to have conflict in a healthy manner. I know how to agree to disagree. And I know how to move the fuck on and maintain my peace. But in situations like this, she wanted that ass whooping. She put that energy out there. She wanted that ass whooping. She didn't think that she didn't think she was going to be the one to get the ass whooping, but she wanted the ass whooping to happen. And unfortunately for her, her and her dog now both, well, I don't know how long ago this was, but her and her dog both wound up being on the fucking sick and shut-in list.
Talking about I need an ambulance. Yeah. Yeah, you do. and then how irrational was this lady? You pulled up to be with the shit, and then you're going to administer assault on a person while being on your phone with the authorities. Like, this lady was out of her mind. She was out. And
not even just that, Conscious. Now, what if they look like they live in a complex of some sort? So now you have jeopardized yourself possibly being evicted.
All that, yes. Catching a charge.
PTO, all of that. Yeah. So,
young girl, a person charges on your ass. Like, girl, you ain't got no time to be dealing with none of this.
This giving me very much that sis had her drink, okay? She had her drink.
Baby, sis was
when she went to walk that dog.
Today is the day that somebody getting their ass whooped, even if it's mine. But somebody getting their ass whooped.
And Mr. Charlie had her pissed off.
Yeah.
This like, that's just probably the case with both of these situations and multiple situations. People do have short fuses. We are living in the twilight zone, but I mean, I need my elders to do better. And again, I'm not going to be mad. Normally, I will have a lot to say to the young generation, but I cannot be upset. Like I said, there have been a lot of things we've been taught from childhood, and then it comes with a hypocrisy attached to it. There's an exception. No, there are no exceptions straight across the board. We choose as individuals to respond however we want to respond to a situation. I'm not going to be mad at any young person that is defending themselves after being physically assaulted. I wouldn't give a damn if it doesn't hurt. I don't care if it felt like her head felt like a feather. You don't get to put your hands on someone and think just because you're age appropriate in your mind.
And she did, because that's why she felt so comfortable, like doing all this with the authorities on the phone. That's why she felt, because she just knew in her mind that her eldership mattered, and that her eldership was her get out of jail free card, and her eldership was her pass. She just knew it. She just knew it. She just knew it. She knew it. And as I already stated, we know that a lot of our elders carry that narcissistic complex, and they were raised in a generation where elders did have that type of qualified immunity, and they think that it applies today. And unfortunately, a lot of them are FAFOing. This is a new day, baby. It's some new sheriffs in town. That
Talk to your family.
Nothing to you but your own family, but it don't have no type of relevancy outside of your four walls.
And this is why the lack of communication, the gap in communication needs to be reestablished, because just as well as the young people need to be taught, the elders need to be taught as well. They need to learn and evolve and come to a space to understand. Yeah. If you feel as though there's a lack of communication, then you need to develop communication, and the communication cannot be one-sided. It can't come from a space of authority and hypocrisy. It ain't no do as I say and not as I do. It ain't, none of those things apply anymore, because I personally love the fact that we are living in a space where it is about humanity. People don't see the, like, they always see the negative side of this type of conversation. But I see the positive side in regards to, I'm glad that we are breaking those old bad habits and traditions of, not that we should not respect our elders, but our elders have to actually give us all of the reasons to respect our elders. Our elders aren't showing up as elders. Our elders aren't teaching, passing down history, sharing information, and being informative and helpful in as far as wisdom is concerned. Family history. They're not being transparent. They're not doing that. So just because you are an elder as far as age is concerned, where have you earned all of the privileges to be honored and respected as an elder? We ain't seeing that. Let's be honest, we're not.
And here's the uglier truth about the elders. A lot of this behavior that we're now seeing out of the elders, because social media exists, was the reality of their asses in all actuality, which is why a lot of their kids and their grandkids turned out to be the same motherfucking way, because a lot of the so-called respectability politics shit was about an optical illusion. But this is who the elder was at home: a raging maniac, a fucking control freak, a cuss your motherfucking ass out, sit on the phone, motherfucking gossip, talk shit about people, be fake and two-faced as fuck. But because outwardly they dressed in they two pieces and they Sunday's best and they carried on and they church nice nasty, there's been an air of, the elders, baby, the elders were raging narcissistic motherfucking lunatics who, they did their fair share of, they paid the motherfucking bills and kept clothes on your motherfucking back. And that's honestly where a lot of them think the buckaroo ends and begins at. They actually don't think that their conduct towards you should matter, because at the end of the day, bitch, I'm taking care of your black ass. And you should bow down for that. And that's where they think their accolade is. We put food in y'all stomachs, clothes on your motherfucking back, and a roof over your head. So who the fuck you think you talking to? Who you think you gonna say no to? Who you think you gonna disrespect? I don't care nothing about what you feel. You are going to bow down. Right, wrong, or motherfucking indifferent. Because I'm keeping you alive. Well, like, bitch, that's your job to do, bitch. I don't recall consenting to being born. Like, bitch, you want a cookie because you were an adult and you took care of your responsibilities, or you want a cookie because mama was a crackhead and you took us in? That was a choice you made. And regardless of what the fuck you're doing for a person, nobody is beyond reproach. I don't give a damn what you call yourself doing for somebody.
I have been teaching my younger cousins how to communicate with the elders in their family. I have worked so diligently with my elders and having the uncomfortable conversations. I've been doing the work of Mother Iyala. And I've had the elders, just something that I was gifted with, and making people feel comfortable, because I'm a person that I know how to remove my biases and just provide a safe space and not be judgmental, because I do realize that a lot of elders do secretly carry a lot of guilt. They won't say it, but they carry a lot of guilt based upon their own traumas and how they drop the ball with their children and even with their grandchildren. But that ego and the narcissism does not allow them to humble themselves and come from a vulnerable place and have the conversations that need to be had. And I'm really proud of the work that I've been seeing manifest in fruition, where it has been helpful to the younger people in my family, because we know the elders are very judgmental, very critical,
controlling,
but they don't share their own stories. They don't, they try to pretend, like you said, put on their Sunday's best and this and the third. We watch them at home live one way, but we don't know their stories. Well, in general, you don't know their stories. They mean, very, very physically abusive and verbally abusive, psychologically abusive, and you don't understand why they're this way. And I have broken boundaries and the toxic traditions and pathologies by having the uncomfortable conversation. I don't let up. Just having the uncomfortable conversations with them, and then providing the space and having conversations with the younger people so they can understand this is why this is this way. Does it make it right? And getting the elders to understand, yeah, you messed up, but we're not going to hold it against you as long as you do the work and you show up for us. So far, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, and stop motherfucking acting like y'all were the best thing since white motherfucking bread. Because if we open up the motherfucking Epstein files and the Epstein files on y'all motherfucking ass, bitch, it'll be up.
Oh, it's been like tea. I be so like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's like watching a soap opera. Like the stories, all of the stuff and the things. You're like, oh my God, you was just as big as a whore. Now I understand why you telling me to slow down. You don't want me to be out here being super promiscuous because you was a hoe. Ain't nothing come out of it but a bunch of kids and, hidden children and illegitimacy. And we get it. We get it now. And it's okay. It's okay, because we get it now. It's okay. That's your past. This is what has come of it. Thank God for all that you went through. You may be embarrassed by it, but I'm thank God because it produced me. But the same way you had to have your lived experience, you can give me all the advice. And I may take it and I may not take it, but allow me to live my life. It has been a wonderful experience. And I'm just watching people build healthy relationships with grandmothers, mothers, cousins. It's really been wonderful, Conscious.
That's amazing.
And it makes the difference. I think that we have to get out of a space. Because I even tell the younger people, I get it. You don't want to fuck with them. You're tired of your grandmother. She gonna sit back. You feel like they're gonna go around town talking about you, telling about your business. So the fuck what? So the fuck what? Because that's what we do it to each other. But you can't have that same relationship because you don't know nothing about her life. Well, sit the fuck down with her and just have a real conversation. It ain't hard.
I think we need to also do better at telling people when they are violating and disrespecting us, and then put people on notice that if you continue in this behavior, you're just not going to have access to me in this way. Because if I can't trust you, because I don't have to accept you having a big ass mouth, and just because you were racist, spread all my motherfucking business, because we know that if it went both ways, the accountability will only be happening one way, for one. And we know that most people can't even take what the hell they give. And I'm not a big component of telling people that they have to, just because it's like, you get to have boundaries. You get to have an expectation out of people that you build in a relationship to. And it's okay to tell people when you feeling a way about the shit that they do. And if they don't want to straighten the fuck up, you can let a motherfucker put their ass on notice, and you can restrict access in whatever way that makes you comfortable. But you don't have to be treated in a certain way, because that goes back to that elderly privilege or that family privilege. That's why I had to really put my foot off into my own family's ass, because there is this like attitude that blood is thicker than water, but what's thicker than blood is love. And I'm not making no exceptions for biological family. And the same things that I expect out of my friends and expect out of my spouse in terms of the principles that make me comfortable being upheld in a relationship, and for me to continue in a relationship to somebody, are universal and apply across the board. And, you know, ideally I would want somebody to have full access to me that I'm connected to and family and know my whole life, but you ain't gonna get to be no raggedy bitch in my life. And I just can't deal with that. For me, I just can't deal with it.
So to provide clarity, because absolutely boundaries should always be established with everyone you have in your life, right? So when I say the so what of them talking about whatever you discuss, knowing people, there's something that I've been like, I don't know when and how, but I know I've been taught the lesson of learning. You have to know the people that you're dealing with, right? And knowing people who you're dealing with, you that's how you should move and engage, right? So if using as an example, if me and you talking, right, and I share something with you, and I know that you are the type of person that you're talking now, whether it's family or whoever, but you talking among, let's say family, you're talking amongst family and you're telling them the latest of what's going on within the family, this one, that one, whatever the case may be. If I know you miss 227, I'm not going to tell you something I don't want to be told. Boundaries. So I like, you know, a lot of the times when it comes to the elders, not in every family, but a lot of times, you know how elders have been. Traditionally, they do sit around and yap and tell everybody's business, Mr. and Mrs. 227. I don't frown upon that when it comes to the quote unquote dynamics of love, sharing information, whether it's good or bad, about what's going on. In my family, I don't have a problem
with that either. But if I choose to have a problem with it and I tell you I'm not comfortable with it, I don't care why you're telling my business. But and I tell you I'm not comfortable with that, because I told you my business. If I wanted Aunt Sally to know it, I would have talked to her the way I talked to you. I didn't talk to her for a reason, and I didn't tell everybody else for a reason. I told you. And if I tell you that I'm uncomfortable, and I don't have to care why you're telling it, I'm going to tell you. Then you won't know nothing else about my business if you continue to tell my business.
Right. I don't disagree with that. I'm saying within my family, there has, with the younger generation, they didn't give grandma and them a chance, granddaddy and them a chance, because the men gossip just as much as the women. They didn't give them the chance and the opportunity because of what they experienced watching them do it to others. And the irony of that is, it's like you said minutes ago, right? How it's all basically a learned behavior. The elders are the one, we watch them. They're the ones that raise us, teach us, and instill things in us. So a lot of, even when you, I know everyone has experience when you find yourself doing something that grandma did, that mama did, you know, you see it, you know, coming to fruition in your life, and you're like, wow, I do this just like that. And you know, you could have been doing it for the longest time and never paid it, never noticed it. And then one day you're like, oh my God. Such, grandma used to do this. Mama used to do this. This is where I get this from. I ain't even paying no attention type thing, right? For me, I know who and who not to, and what to share, not to share. Because I'm not going to, although I should be able to have expectations, I know people are people, and I know who the people are, and I know what to say and what not to say. So I choose to engage with you on my terms, how I, you know, what I want to share, don't want to share, even if I want to say hello or don't. But the opportunity is there to have something, because I do know and realize that something had to change. And sometimes the change begins with not one person all the time, because if you have a bunch of people that's like-minded, they can do it too. But it starts with you first, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's going great. And I hold the elders in my family to a high standard, and I let them know I hold them to a high standard. But I don't put, I have the high standard for them, and I demand a high standard for them, but I don't put what I want and what I desire onto the next person, to your point. Like, I don't push what my standards are for them onto others. I give the generalization, I show them, try to be the example, and I hold those elders at a higher standard than I do the younger people, because they're the ones that have the lived experience.
So, and that's why teaching boundaries is more important than teaching people acceptance, because a lot of what happened to us is going to happen to them. We accepted a lot of behavior from our parents and from the elders out of what we were taught. So we tolerated it, but we secretly held secret resentment and animosity toward them for it.
Yeah, I've always been outspoken. I've always stood on business. I never had, like, I was taught different, you know, always was taught I had a voice. I had a right to speak my opinion, and even to my mother, no matter who it was, the age or whatever. And I was never taught the boundary, like how to properly, in a healthy manner, without having to argue, cuss, fuss, and go, you know, do the most that just really didn't, nothing good came out of it. In that moment, the long run it did, but in that moment it didn't. But I've never been a person to just sit back and take abuse. I just didn't know how to do it.
Baby. She will make you swear by blood if she told you some shit. Baby, she gonna tell all your shit. but the minute you give her shit back, baby, piss to the highest pissivity. I told you. I don't want to hear what you told me. What I told your ass was don't be telling my motherfucking business. And then if I share something with you, I'm sharing it with you in confidence. So now that you know what it feels like for somebody to go run their motherfucking mouth, I bet you won't run it again.
Child, when I got all the elders tea in my family, as you know, most of them are gone. I still have a lot of elders, but my grandmama and them generation, great grandmother and them, they generation, child, we was like good girlfriends. Child, I don't know what it was about me that can get them to open up and tell they would sit. It would just be
that empath shit, because
child, because
they would tell their business too.
And guess what? And guess what? I had the same energy that they had. I like the same way you gonna sit and talk about me, I'm gonna talk about you. Like, cause I was always an open book. So it was never anything I didn't want nobody to know about. It didn't get told. It wasn't, but for the most part, I was an open book. I couldn't be shamed and, embarrassed or nothing. I didn't have any of that in my childhood and in my upbringing. And I was the one to call back. They said I was very disrespectful, and I've always been outspoken. The only difference between then and now, I've learned emotional intelligence, how to regulate my emotions, how to properly articulate myself. again, experiences. I learned the whole thing. You can, what's the phrase? You can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Yeah, I just learned how to approach people, deal with people according to what they show me, their level of emotional intelligence. But I'm really the bridge, like builder in the family. And I be telling like the young people in my family, listen, your grandma called you a hoe, your mama called you, she got a past too. I don't want to be the one to tell her story. But I can help make it possible if you want to sit down and get to know. See, I know, you know, when it came, when they would like shame you for messing with multiple men and just being free spirited sex, even down to people in their sexuality, their orientation. Child, I used to sit back like, I know some of y'all don't lick the cat. I don't know where those thoughts and things came from, but I used to sit back, anybody judging who gay, who ain't gay, who a hoe, and who. Y'all putting too much energy into slandering people. This feels like you're like what you call those people that injure themselves when they like self-mutilating stuff. That's what it felt like. It felt like a deflection. It always felt like you're projecting. Because it was too much vigor behind it. And it always turned out to be true in some senses.
Yeah.
So
I do know that a lot of older people, like they don't be telling your business maliciously, like to your point, like family talk, whatever. Everybody keep each other kind of up on game and informed about what's going on, whatever. You know, but I also like recognize that there's a deficit where we've kind of like disproportionately made a lot of space for our elders to be what they are, and that I don't know if they've been put in enough of a position to have to make sure that pendulum swings the other way too. Like,
right,
and do their fair share of accepting and do their fair share of making space for who other people are. Because to your point earlier about how judgmental a lot of the elders would be, and you know, overly opinionated and closed-minded, and so it's definitely work to do on both ends. But yeah, it's dope that you are bridging the gap and kind of, you know, helping people to pick and choose their battles, major in the major, minor in the minor, and no foul, no play, you know, like, cause like they say, child, family that prays together, stays together. Family can be a great resource. Family can be a really beautiful thing, but when you're doing what you're doing, like that's how you keep it together. Because I think that a lot of people think that family just like remains just to remain, and it don't. That shit can fall apart so quick and can go away so fast and can dissipate in the blink of an eye. Being very intentional about holding family together is important. Like any other relationship, it requires intentionality. So.
And I just want to say this real quick and just as establish this point. Family is not always biological relatives. So when I speak to family as a whole, it is not a biological relative thing either. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm very clear. Everyone that I'm related to is not a part of my family dynamics. And so I put in the work with those that show me they are contributors and put in the work as well. I do not believe, and I am not an advocate, that you have to expose yourself to a bunch of toxic ass motherfuckers just because you're biologically related to them.
And speaking of toxic motherfuckers, I think that we're going to be coming right back after this live to get into the toxicity of Zeus Network, because I see some shit in my algorithm that I kind of want to talk about regarding this Bad Boy reunions and London and Pootie and Banga and this producer that done spoke out. Oh, I think I want to get into some things. But welcome to the pod. What's going on?
I'm doing pretty good. Very interesting conversation.
Oh, is it?
Yes, very interesting conversation. I want to say hello to the panel as well. Um,
Hey, Tony.
yeah, I'm like you. I think respect goes both ways, and we're just in a different day and time.
Mm.
And if you don't, we call it modernity. Like when things become modern, right? And if you don't transition with the times, we're going to find ourselves in a whole lot of trouble, right? So even me, I'm 53 years old. I'll be 54, and even I have saw the need to transition to more modern times. The way we govern ourselves. My father once put that as to when I was raising my son. And, I was trying to punish my son the way he was punishing me, and my dad was like, "You can't do that. It's a different day and time, there, bro. You can't do that stuff. We think differently, we act differently, and how we interact with each other is differently. Especially with the exposure of more knowledge. Everybody nowadays has more exposure to knowledge than what we used to have. So the things that we do and the things that we discuss and how we conduct ourselves, it's got to be upgraded, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? You know what's interesting, Todd? As you were saying this, it's like because everything is very simple to me. Even though humans we make it complex. I don't know why there needs to be any evolution to humanity, to our humanity. Because the reality is, if we just humanize each other, no matter the age, we wouldn't have a lot of foolishness going on. Like the interaction with one another would not result in so much chaos if we would just humanize each other. We could still have boundaries in place in regards to, because we do need structure and rules and things of that nature, right? But if we just humanized each other, we wouldn't
Yeah,
have to evolve in the way we have to force upon others to do.
yeah. You're right. You're right. But you know how it is. Culturally, we're just all different. Even you know what they say, like every 5 to 10 years, things change culturally, right? We're not teaching the same things as we evolve, right? Here's a perfectly good example. I remember being in the army. When I was in the army, I used to say, well, I would never treat my soldiers the way I was treated coming up. So as a result of that, we changed the culture. Do you understand what I'm saying? For what we think is the best, right? And these cultures keep changing and changing and changing and changing. So therefore, we evolve unintentionally, right? Because we're just trying to be better than what we've had, right? And that includes with the treatment of others and how we communicate with others as well.
It, it's really like bizarre to me how we are programmed to desensitize humanity, just human rights.
Yeah.
It's really crazy and bizarre to me that we've complex as humans. We've like really complicated the simplicity of our humanity.
Yeah, this is true, and I see somebody in the chat has a good point as well with the inception of social media. Uh, social media was a game changer, man. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to blame it all on social media. I'm not going to do that as well. But I agree a lot with everything that you guys are saying. Man, I'm just looking at how we communicate with each other, man, and I'll just go, oh my God. It's
A lot of the stuff would just cease if there were no hierarchies, if respect was something that universally just had to go always in all directions,
yeah,
Right.
under every circumstance, under all situations. There's no fucking I think we get into trouble when we start creating the exceptions.
Right.
yeah,
No, as a 75-year-old woman, you do not have the right to go to anybody's house and cuss their ass clean out and then put your hands on them and think that you're not gonna get touched by either an angel or a hammer.
I agree.
No, you do not. That is inappropriate. You out of motherfucking order. No, you don't have the right to lose your goddamn mind and to go and do something illegal like physically assault somebody because your goddamn coffee or a McDonald's order was not correct. I don't give a damn what happened in the damn drive-thru.
I agree.
You know, like
And the irony is how the universe, the energy, we know this, the energy we put out there. If this was two young people and it happened to a young person, the first thing the elders would have said was, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Live by the sword. They love to quote that. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Love to quote that. But for some reason, and I know what it is, but you know, it's like they become null and void when it comes. There's an exception to the rule because they are elders. As if elders don't suffer consequences.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm like, go ahead, Todd. I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying I agree.
Yeah, this is why I'm baffled at elders that move in ways like this. Like, and it has to be like, I'm gonna assume if it ain't something, I just want to. It's something medical. It's something psychological. I don't know if it's a snap, like, you know, pressures of life, or if it's, you know, a substance abuse type of thing. There's something there that makes them lose logic, all sense of rationale, to think because they're up in age, there's an exception to the rule. Karma does not come back to you. The energy you put out there is what's going to come back to you.
And that's, I think, how we should base our ethics and morality around, is the laws of physics. Let's have a 5-year-old put their hand on an open fire and see what happens. And then have a 30-year-old put their hand over an open fire and see what happens. And then have an 80-year-old put their hands over an open fire. And if we determine that fire gave everybody that motherfucking worked who put their hands on fire, then everybody else need to stay the fuck away from fire and respect the law of the fire. Because to your point, Rumors, there is no exceptions. There are no exceptions. And just like there really aren't no exceptions in nature, we should really line our society up that same way. Like, at the end of the day, your age is not an exception. Your race is not an exception. Your gender is not an exception. Your sexuality is not an exception. Your socioeconomic class is not an exception. Your political affiliation is not an exception. Your religious beliefs are not an exception. So from there, we then create our rules of engagement. And we apply it across the motherfucking board. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know what they say, right? The concept of moral physics suggests that ethical behavior can be understood through the same principles that govern complex systems, you know?
So many groups have gotten away with unrelented privilege in this system because of exceptionalism. Just like Christians are the ones who are leading the protests outside of gay marriages and the state house, and sit outside of abortion clinics and evangelize and put their pamphlets in your door and come knock on your door and with their Christian agenda. Well, what if every other group picked up that same mantra? What if other groups? What if the Buddhists or the Muslims or the Satanists went and stood outside of the damn churches and protested Christianity? Like, a lot of people really don't even know what this looks like when the Uno reversed, because it doesn't really even get reversed enough for them to know how the fuck they looked. But I think that it's time to start equaling out all the playing fields around this motherfucker. It's time for people to see exactly what the fuck they look like and what the fuck they sound like. And then I want to see what conversation we'll have coming back as a community after everybody get that smoke. After everybody see their foolishness personified upon themselves by another. But I think, yeah, the problem is exceptionalism. I think that we have to have rules that apply from one end to the other. I think that that's the only way that it can really work in sync, is to get rid of exceptions. No,
I
if you
agree.
don't want nobody talking about you, talk about it. If you don't want nobody telling you your business, don't tell nobody business. If you don't want nobody, they're like, just it has to work across the board, just across the board. And ironically, this is wrapped up in one of the top 5 of the 10 commandments. Treat others how you would have them treat you. No exceptions. No motherfucking exceptions. Whatever will make you safest, whatever will make you feel the most respected and the most seen and the most dignified and the most humanized and the most protected and the most loved and the most provided for, that's exactly what the fuck you have to burden yourself with providing to other people.
That's what it means to humanize another person.
Everybody held themselves to that fucking standard. Maybe we'd be just fine.
That right there, all that you just said is what truly defines humanity.
Yeah.
When you treat someone the way you want to be treated. And the irony to feel like, because that's a great example you gave the Christians, the irony to feel like you have the entitlement and no other group of people have the same entitlements. And then your entitlement comes with its own biased hypocrisy. You want to go out and you want to boycott and protest against, the clinics and things of that nature. But you're sitting up here killing people's spirits and souls. You're sitting up here, sorry for the K word, but unaliving, children, and you get it's the hypocrisy. You're judging someone's orientation, but secretly you're indulging in that lifestyle that you quote unquote are damning to hell. That you can do it, but I can't do it, and that's ego. That's greed. Ain't nothing. It all comes from a place of greed. I can do it, but no one else can do it. And there's something, and I hope that I can remain, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I hope that I can remain so conscious as I continue to age and get in my, complete full elder bag. I hope I can remain self-aware and don't ever be in that headspace, because I have said it in the past, but for the last maybe 5 to 6 years of my life, I don't even think I can't wait to become an elder so I can say and do anything I want to. Because to me, that shows me that you're not looking to be a productive human being. You're not looking to be a positive life, to be a great example. You with the shits. When people say stuff like that, they really want to show their ass. Because it's nothing that I'm the person I am today. I'm open already, so I don't need to wait till I become an elder to be outspoken. But most of the time that comes from the space of we see somebody showing their ass as an elder, acting a fool, and we find it funny. But that shit don't be funny. I see a lot of videos. I know y'all do too. On social media, other elders like really out there showing their ass unwarranted. And I'm always, I advocate for the children and for the younger generations, because I understand. Now, we know there are exceptions to the rule, but in general, I understand the plague that has, interrupted. I'm going to speak specifically to our community as a race, how it has came. And I know and watched it and have lived it and still am living it. All of the things that has really infected our community. I'm going to stay on the necks. Just like I do with black women, I'm going to stay on the necks of the elders. Y'all drop the fucking ball. And instead of y'all self-correcting, because this is what I tell them in my family now. Y'all have to understand, if you want the young people to respect you, engage with you, because they weren't engaging. If you want them to engage with you, love on you, earn it. How do you earn it? You tell them your story. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't try to give a half-ass story. And I'm an advocate believer that you don't have to share everything either. It's that, the same, the pendulum swing both ways. But open yourself up. Let them see who you really are, what you've experienced. Once you tell the story, tell people what you've experienced or whatever, it gives an understanding. And yes, even though we have understanding, doesn't mean we're going to always agree. But I know who you are. These things are important for a reason. It provides understanding. and a healthier way to communicate with each other and just engage with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, this reminds me of a debate we had in one of my philosophy classes, where they said, "Is being good just a matter of faith, or is it just a matter of logic?" Right? Which was a very interesting debate, man. Look, there was a whole lot of gatekeeping and storm bringing that day. Okay, we were all looking at each other like we were crazy when we walked out of there, and I came to this logical conclusion that because of our cultures, where we were raised and who we were raised around, we're all going to have different perspectives. However, those perspectives, as long as they're not infringing upon the rights of others, should be respected and adhered to, right? That which would make sense, right? That's what we would call like just getting along with each other,
Right. No, I agree. But things will get better, or we're going to see more videos of elders out here with, neck braces and,
Baby, y'all better be calling some motherfucking family meetings out in this bitch. Then y'all better be calling, baby. It's time for the memo to go out because, baby, as me and Rumor said earlier, these ain't the same young people from the 1960s, ma'am. These are not the same young people, my love. It's a lot of the community as a whole has transitioned from a type of tribalism and collective identity to more of individualism. So that changes the rules of engagement.
Yeah.
The community,
you're right.
Community values. They stand on individual values now. So you don't know what the hell you're getting from another tribe member now. It ain't the same rules. So people better be, talk to your elders, because my mama, like, as she had gotten older, she started to get more fucking crunk. I would tell her ass, Sealy, calm that shit down when we go out in public, baby. Because somebody get on your ass. If somebody get on your asses, like lady. Now, I ain't gonna never, now, it's always gonna be a 2-for-1 package if I'm with you. But baby, I be scared for you when I ain't with you, because you be on your bullshit. And you only meeting my brother's mama. You not them other people's mamas. You take your bullshit into a CVS, into a 7-Eleven, into a bodega, into a motherfucking mall or wherever, calling yourself wanting to be the baddest bitch, sis, you may not make it home.
Yeah, you're right, man. You cannot. There are consequences.
Or you may not make it home at all. Straighten the fuck up.
Did you say it's time to call a tribe meeting? Call the elders to the table? Yeah, they could be held accountable. And we should be holding them accountable.
You got to. If you care about them and you want them safe and you want them alive and you want them, baby, we got to tell them about the world, sugar. Like, don't you take none of this shit, like how your nieces and nephews and your grandbabies respect you and all that. Don't go projecting that fantasy onto the outside world. Think of your life like the way you think of the book of Genesis. Inside of Eden was one law in one way. And then outside the gates of Eden was a whole nother world with a whole nother set of rules. So think of your own private household and your own personal family as Eden. And then everything else, bitch, is something else.
Yep, you gotta leave. Yep, that respect goes both ways. I've said it, and you gotta modernize your way of thinking and how you're dealing with people. We're just not culturally dealing with the same people that's in our era, you know what I mean? And as we become more exposed, have more exposure to more different people and more different races and more different ethnicities, you have to modify your approach of how you approach them, okay? Because they have a perspective too, and they have feelings as well. So yes, I totally agree with you guys. And nor can you just walk around here and put hands on people because you think you're older than them. That don't work, okay? It don't work at all.
Yeah.
It's like the fact of knowing most elders experienced that type of treatment when they were younger. And more than likely, they didn't like that when they were younger. And I get, I slightly get it's very immature, but I slightly get and understand wanting to feel like, yeah, okay, This my time. I get to do what was done to me type of thing, my little payback. But you know what that felt like. So why would you continue to perpetuate that toxic cycle? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And I think that people play down the things. I think it's made to feel so borderline lighthearted when it comes to the elders misbehaving and being hurtful, offensive. Like it has been made to feel like it's not a big deal, right? And it's crazy as hell to me that it has been normalized in that way, in that sense, where you're supposed to overlook the treatment of, someone that's supposed to love you, having them hurt you and injure you, whether it's physically or emotionally, or like, it's just weird that is made lighthearted and so nonchalant.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It is weird, but it goes into the cuddling, generational cuddling of abusive behavior. We're talking about the same people that will sweep SA and molestation under the bus and under the carpet, and will use denial as a pseudo solution or a form of healing. I mean, we have a lot of bad things we have to really clean up as a community, but I don't be surprised, because what we're really talking about is the excusing and the acceptance of more piss poor ass motherfucking behavior on top of all the other piss poor ass behavior that we accept within the community and as a people.
Yep. And thrown under the guise of under the name of the Bible or Jesus, right? It's incredible. As you would say, my God, today. You know what, Conscious, you're gonna have to patent that, okay? Because because I have used that. So look, okay.
But you know who I get my God today from, though, right?
No, I
don't know if y'all know who Vicky Dillard is. Or if y'all have ever heard of Vicky Dillard, she's a so-called black revolutionary, and her ass will always be, my God today, my God today, like that. Yeah, so I've been saying it ever since, but that's what I got it from.
But see, it's the context of how you say it. You go, my God. See, there's a conscious way of saying it, right? that inflicts meaning, and severity to the situation. Okay, like my God, pause. Today, okay?
My God.
Right?
It's the best. But we're gonna get out of here. I want to talk about some more toxic ass shit. I'm sitting here screenshotting and putting together this thumbnail for this Zeus and Brandy. I don't know if y'all want to talk about Zeus and Brandy, but baby, the people are scared for Brandy. The saxophones are getting louder for her as it relates to her physical appearance. We're gonna talk about that, and then we got to get into what's going on with Zeus, because I got some things that's in my mind that I would like to provide to this conversation that the producers and some of the talent got going on up over there. So we finna go live again. I'm gonna be dropping the motherfucking link again.
I know that's right.
I enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, this was amazing. Shout out to you, Rumors, for holding your family together. I tried to hold mine together. I tried to be the Moses. Them hoes ran me. They ran my blood pressure all the way up, child. I had to get up out of Eden and find me a deluxe apartment over there in the other world, because I can't deal with mine. But shout out to you for being able to be that person and holding like the young people and the elders together, keeping everybody in communication, helping to prompt everybody to give each other grace and compassion and understanding. A lot of times that just really what be lacking, like, teaching the art of communication, teaching the art of getting along, teaching the art of relationshiping, because we really don't be knowing that these things are a art form, but they are an art form. I think people really do be thinking that like love is enough, but I finally understand what Tina Turner meant by what the fuck does love have to do with it, when like if you don't know the laws of a relationship, just loving somebody ain't gonna be enough. You got to learn their love language. You got to learn how to really be compassionate, how to really hold safe, how to be a safe person. You have to learn to put your ego aside. You got to be self-aware, to your point, know when your ego leading you, when your emotions leading you, and you're not clear-headed. Like, it's just like, it's a whole lot of shit that goes into relationshiping. And so it's good, you know, if anybody is in any type of a situation or a system where they got somebody who is helping to implement those things and to hold those things up and to kind of give people the tools to, you know, to move along and to function along. So God bless you and light and love to you and all other things that you were doing for your community and for your family. They are better for having you amongst them.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love and light to everyone. Remember this, and I'm gone. Remember this. No relationship comes without work.
Yes.
And if you love a person, be willing to put in the work. That love is not just a word, it is an action. And it requires work.
Yeah.
My God.
And once you apply, because we all got work to do. So once you apply the work, you're going to see the fruitation. But don't waste your efforts. You do not have to waste your efforts and time on someone that is not reciprocating. It may not be, the person don't have to, like, we going to get it together. You may not be able to reciprocate and give to me what I give to you. But if I see you putting in work, whatever that is, I am more than happy to do my part. I love y'all. There is hope and things are going to get better.
I always tell people, if you give me something to work with, I can work with it. I can work with something to work with. So if you give me something to work with, I can work with it. So I told you.
Right. Change is here.
Yeah.
Change is here. Love y'all, and I'll see you on the next live.
Thank you for being up here, Todd.
All right. No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I love you guys. This is why I always come here when I need. Hey, look, when I need peace and I need knowledge, I come straight here to Consciouztv because you expose me to my level of conscious. All right, you have done stuff that Sigmund Freud can only think about. All right, he will be taking notes from you and from you as well. Rumors until NT and as well as the Conscious crew. So this is why I'm here, and I'll say it before I leave. That every time I come here, I always learn something. All right, always learn something. And I love you guys. And I'm about to fade out like a Michael Jordan jump shot and catch this rumors and catch this rumors and tea. Okay, that's what you're about to do. Okay, because you've been putting on a marathon here. Okay,
man, I'm about to look. And I'm keeping it going. I'm going to get right back on the train.
I told you, 10 miles ahead of these jokers out here, boy. That's what I'm talking about.
Gotta be. But the strongest commentator win.
All right, I know that's right. Y'all take care, and I'm about to tune right on into this next segue. All right, y'all take care.
That was our Todd and I was our rumors, y'all. Great discussion. Y'all know I don't be doing no lengthy shows no more, child. So I said, let me get the people, child, because the people be they be cash apping and stuff. I said, okay, child, the people put me to work, girl. The conscious crew need a piece. Okay, so if y'all love these live streams, y'all love the work, y'all love the dialogue, y'all love the exchanges, y'all love all the things, you can always bless the king and support the king on Cash App at $Consciouztv and or paypal.me/Consciouztv. That's Conscious with the Z on the end, spelled just how it is here on the channel. All donation information is in the social media in the description box below, as long as with all of my social media handles. We are about to talk about Zeus and Miss Brandy, so I'm going to be back in about 5 minutes. Be looking for the platform. You may not get no notifications because I'd be working my ass off so much that I'd be using up all my notifications within one 48-hour period, child. So you may have to come and check the channel manually. All right, so I should be live in color in about 5 minutes. I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you think about the elders, girl. What you think about Miss Anita Grayson and Miss Miriam, child. And what do y'all think about, you know, this whole dynamic of knucking and bucking with the elder child? Okay, are y'all whipping ass? Don't matter if a motherfucker 80 years old, or, you know, you showing some restraint and letting somebody, grandma and grandpa, live to see another day. Tell me all about it. Run the lights all the way up. I love you all, and I will see you guys in a few. Peace.